Ladies and gentlemen, if you have been following my channel for a while, you may know I spent a lot of time covering Minecraft's chat reporting system, which eventually was integrated into the game. I thought that this system would be incredibly damaging for Minecraft as a whole, and I still believe that it is fairly damaging. However, that system pales in comparison to the damage to the game to this one, the username history API removal. On September 13th, Mojang will be removing public access to Minecraft's username history API under the guise of improving player safety and data privacy. However, it will do neither of these things and instead will make people's data less secure and make people less safe. Let's talk about it. Starting off with the more obvious player safety. Username removal was, well, a really out of nowhere decision. And the reason is fairly simple. Usernames have always been able to be viewed in Minecraft, especially through systems like NameMC, which have allowed people to much more easily keep track of pretty much every player. This is a fundamentally good thing. It means that people could be held responsible for their actions in the game, and if someone, for instance, changed their username, it would be much easier to find out who they were. By removing this system and removing this access, you are making the game much safer, not for the average person, but for creeps, pedophiles, and other individuals who want to take advantage of younger people on the game, or potentially the rules as a whole. Looking at this from a holistic view, it doesn't seem like this is going to affect the average person at all, except in the sense of removing their access to NameMC and other similar features. By removing this access, if they were ever to be encountered by someone who wanted to, let's say, harass them, all they would need to do is bypass whatever server ban or wait out whatever ban that they were waiting on if they happen to get banned by a server, and rejoin under a different username to keep harassing this player. That's all they would need to do. If you wanted to follow someone server to server, that is now easier than ever. Just get a few alt accounts and switch names every 10 days. Now you're able to harass whoever you want incredibly easily. If it sounds like I'm speaking from a view of someone who is being, a little exaggeratory about all of this, I don't actually believe that this will be, the commonplace scenario. However, it is certainly a possibility, and that alone makes the removal entirely pointless. Who does this protect? By removing the username history, it's not going to be easier for someone to, for instance, change their username if they're getting harassed and get away from the harassment, as UUIDs still exist. Now, the average person could just say, well, can't you use that UUID system to get back at the people harassing you? Theoretically, yes, you can. However, this is going to lead to people potentially having to UUID pretty much everyone they talk to on the game in order to actually make sure that they're, the legit person and not someone trying to, do something terrible to them. And on top of this, younger people don't necessarily know about the UUID system. NameMC was a very simple and clean way to actually interact and see what people's previous usernames were. Why would you make this harder for the average everyday person and easier for creeps or people who potentially have better access to these systems and better knowledge of these systems to abuse it? It makes absolutely no sense. Your data isn't going to be more private now. If anything, it's only going to be private to the people who don't know how to use it, which are the people who needed this protection the most. The only reason this system was really added was, ironically, because of chat reporting. The idea is that you're supposed to use this system, which is the removal of the API, in order to treat it as a reason why chat reporting should exist. Well, if someone can just change their username, why don't you just report the account and then they'll get banned everywhere? Aside from the obvious problems with chat reporting, the false bans, the potential for abuse, that is a really bad reason to remove a system like this. And frankly, it should not have been done. And on top of this, the majority of servers aren't even in the latest versions of Minecraft, and therefore don't have chat reporting on them. This is something that the 99% of servers have done, removed chat reporting entirely. The game doing this in this way is trying to force people into using chat reporting by essentially removing every other option for player reporting and player moderation, which is not just really dangerous. It's not just going to lead to a lot more people being abused. It's not just going to lead to a lot more people being preyed on, but it's going to lead to a lot more people getting hurt. And that is the biggest problem here. I can't comprehend why Mojang, a company that has dealt with children buying their games for 10 years, why Microsoft, a company which has billions of dollars, would decide to make a decision like this to prevent people from having access to their own moderation platforms, their own ability to check who people are and see what previous usernames they were under. Pretty much every other game company allows you to view the previous usernames that people on the platform may have had. This has nothing to do with data privacy, it has nothing to do with player safety, it has everything to do with whatever agenda Mojang and by extension Microsoft want to push. And by the way, the argument that this isn't Mojang is absurd at this point. They are owned by Microsoft. It's not just Microsoft telling them what to do. All of these workers have been under Microsoft for years now. To keep giving them the benefit of the doubt keeps allowing them to do shit like this, and frankly, it is horrible. It is damaging the game, it is damaging people's trust, and it is damaging the trust that allowed people to actually feel safe on this game, which is frankly what I care about. Overall though, if you have any comments about the system, leave them down below. I probably won't get to all of them, but I'll try to reply to as many as I can. This is an incredibly dangerous system, and I am worried about its effects. But frankly, I have no more comments to make other than that. They are going to keep doing stuff like this, and they don't seem to be abated by pretty much anything. Look to the future, fellas. It's gonna be garbage, but I'll see you then.